living. It's almost become a lost art. Life that was once simple has become a balancing act. A precarious juggling of time, finances, and priorities, all in hopes of finding those few precious moments where life can truly blossom. In a world where deadlines are always yesterday, where more time is spent commuting to work than is spent with family, we've been led to believe that life is a goal to be achieved, something to be experienced after retirement from decades of work. There are those of us who rebel, those of us who say, it doesn't have to be like that. And that's why we live here. When I returned to Perry County after 25 years away, I hadn't intended on staying. For me, it was a safe haven from the ravages of Hurricane Katrina, a temporary stop to regroup and plan what would happen next for me and my family. But it only took a few weeks to see that the things that were most important to us were easier to find here. Good schools, safe neighborhoods, and a sense of community that was hard to come by in larger cities. I saw a lot of changes had taken place since the years of my youth, but many things remained the same. And I liked those things. I began shooting video footage, documenting the beautiful and unique character of Perry County. We have such an abundance of scenic beauty, such a rich history, so many community events. There was no way to include everything in a short film. But I wanted to try and capture the spirit of our area, the spirit of our people, because that's what truly sets us apart. This is a place where modern life, small town values, and nature converge in a very unique way. A perfect place to become a master of the art of living.
You know, they asked me when I retired, are you going to move? And I said, no. I said, I like it here. I like the woods, I like to hike, I like nature, and Perry County has all of this.
You know, I think it's really the laid-back lifestyle. You know, there's no hustle and bustle here.
We're within a couple of hours drive of Nashville, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, really almost St. Louis. So geographically, we sit in the middle of really the best of everything. But we don't have to fight the traffic. We don't have to fight the crime. We don't have to worry about our kids walking to and from school because it's a community that watches the community. It's a very safe, clean place to live.
We're a community that likes to socialize, whether it's for a town festival, a small gathering of friends, or cheering for our young athletes under the Friday night lights. The past few years has seen a new football rivalry emerge between our county high schools of Tell City and Perry Central. No one likes to see their team coming up on the short side of the scoreboard. But a nice thing about our community is that you probably know people on both sides of the stadium. No matter who wins, on your way home, you'll have an opportunity to offer both congratulations and condolences. A lot of changes have happened in our county schools since I was a kid. Consolidation has given us fewer and larger schools, but the quality of education remains uncompromised. Ongoing renovations and the introduction of new technology ensure that all of our educational facilities are moving successfully into the 21st century.
I can remember growing up in this community. I went to school at the old St. Paul School and then at Tell City High School, graduated in 1961. There's just been a very rich tradition as far as this school system is concerned. Our goal and our mission is to perpetuate that tradition as well as to incorporate new programs and to deal with students now in the 21st century. We're really just on the threshold of doing a lot of things with modern technology that's going to help our kids. But that rich tradition of a strong academic program is at the core of the whole thing.
Perry Central is a place where people care about each other. We've been called a family. It feels like home. We know that technology is a valuable tool and we want it to be embedded in the curriculum and everything we do, from using word processing and PowerPoint and those kind of tools to classes like pre-engineering and a biomedical program that utilizes technology from a vocational standpoint. People make the difference. And we're very fortunate that we have people who go the extra mile to make a difference in the life of children.
Dashes and then yeah, and then it'll end up looking like.
It's hard to live in Perry County and not enjoy the outdoors. A drive on any county road will reveal scenes suitable for display in a gallery of fine art. And the folks here are doing a lot to help remind all of us how effortless it can be to enjoy nature in our area. The Perry County Greenway Project is an ongoing plan for walkways, trails, and bike paths to allow citizens of all ages safe, easy access to our natural beauty.
One thing we continue to strive for here in Perry County as a whole is the quality of life that we bring to our citizens. One aspect of that quality of life is the partnership that the City of Tell City has with the Perry County Greenway Initiative. We now have the Tell City Riverwalk project underway, where citizens will have the opportunity to stroll along the riverfront. And all of this ties into part of our countywide wellness approach. We understand that quality of life to a community is having a community where you live, work, and play in a comfortable environment, a healthy environment. As we promote wellness in partnership with the Greenway Initiative, we are bringing a better quality of life to our citizens.
We've got nearly 60,000 acres of national forest in Perry County, hiking, boating, and fishing at 4 lakes and 9 hiking trails. The Twin Lakes Trail at Indian and Salina Lakes has become the site of one of the most grueling events for runners in the United States.
We're here at Lake Salina, which is the smaller of the 2 lakes out here, and this is our 3rd annual Indian Salina Challenge, half marathon, full marathon, and 8-mile race. We came up with this idea just because we love coming out here to run, and a couple of buddies of mine, we got together and decided to organize this, and now it draws over 100 people from, different states. I think this year we had 8 different states represented. We have people coming from Wisconsin, from Georgia, from Tennessee, from all around, and when they get here and they finish this race and they get done and they're just dead tired and just covered in mud and sweat and water, they all say the same thing. This is an absolutely beautiful place to run, a tough place to run, but a rewarding place to run too.
Speaking from someone who did relocate here some time ago, I was always impressed with our just our natural resources, our rolling hills, the Ohio River. I've always been a big lover of the water. The Rocky Point area is a must-see. I think Rocky Point is just it's a neat little getaway, nice little hidden gem we might have here in Perry County. We can go down there and eat a nice restaurant. You can go camping down there, go hiking, you can go on the river.
The hill behind Rocky Point Marina is home to one of the true wonders of the Midwest, a Celtic cross, believed to be the world's largest, carved from its native stone. This masterpiece is a creation of sculptor Greg Harris and was commissioned by Gary Doby. The original stone was 22 feet by 20 feet and 4 feet thick. The sculpture is ripe with symbolism, with subtle cues paying homage to the connection between nature and the spiritual world. The mystical number 23 is repeated numerous ways in this creation, as is the golden mean. Our local cemeteries have always held a fascination for me. To some, they're places that represent sadness and loss. Others just find them spooky. But in these sacred spots, I find a serenity and peace so pure it defies description. I'm fascinated by the dates on the old weathered headstones. These brothers and sisters were the creators of our history. They founded our towns, constructed our most famous buildings. Some, like these Civil War soldiers memorialized in Magnet, were just passing through our county when fate called them to become permanent residents.
It's kind of sad because here the war was over and they were ready to go home. August C3 was the name of the boat, and they came aground just a short ways from here in a sandbar, and trying to get off of it, jabbed up the engines as much as they could, and boiler blew up, and these 10 soldiers died on the way home.
We honor and remember our citizens in cemeteries with names like Lamb, Bangle, and Wagonast. And we hold a special place in our hearts for those who've paid the ultimate price to allow us the freedom to enjoy the life we do. In 2010, the citizens of Perry County held a special remembrance for 63 people none of us had ever met. The passengers of Northwest Airlines Flight 710, who in 1960 came to their final rest at Millstone between Cannelton and Tobinsport. At the time, it was one of the worst air disasters the world had experienced. Perry County erected a memorial to those who lost their lives that day, on the spot where the plane fell. 50 years later, we invited the victims' families and loved ones to join us in honoring these people we had never known, but who had become a part of our county, a part of our lives.
Chaffin, age 2, all from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Lawrence E. Drummond, age 73, Dale Rapids, South Dakota.
This is just a perfect example of how the Perry County community cares for people who they never even knew. They were complete strangers, and for 50 years they've been sheltering their gravesite and taking care of it and honoring them. It's just an example of how the people in Perry County are just down to earth and real and care about each other.
Every community has its own unique way of coming together in celebration. Cannelton has its Heritage Festival. Rome has its courthouse days every fall. Leopold hosts the St. Augustine Church Picnic. The small river town of Derby throws an impressive 4th of July fireworks display. Tell City holds its annual birthday party, the Schweitzerfest.
Welcome to Schweitzerfest.
Our fairs and festivals are nearly continuous from spring through autumn. These social events are the cornerstones of our community spirit, occasions for us to put aside our day-to-day concerns and enjoy who we are. Every fall, the quiet town of Bristow closes its streets, even closes the state highway that runs through the town, in order to welcome visitors to the annual Antique Car Show.
I've been in charge of the car show for, this will be my third year. Started 2 years ago. Wayne started the car show, will be 21 years this next year. Maybe 13 or so cars here, the first show that they had. It's just grown little by little every year. We'll judge in excess of 500 cars now. We have several come, 250, 300 miles into the show. They come a long ways. We have a lot of people that do just come out here. They don't get their cars judged. They just come out here just to show off the cars and sit with their buddies. And it's just a good time. A lot of good food out here. A lot of people come to the car show. They drive the county roads. They actually go out, 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 cars, and they'll just go out and tour the county road. People enjoy that.
And as much as we enjoy admiring cars, we also take pleasure in destroying them. The Perry County 4-H Fairgrounds hosts a demolition derby to coincide with its annual July fair. We're always coming up with new events to bring friends together. The local wineries of Windsorwald and Blue Heron have brought wine tasting and outdoor music concerts to our growing repertoire of social events.
Yeah, this is our second year of our WOW concert, Wine Over Water. We do that between Memorial Day and Labor Day. We just have 6 concerts, but the crowds range between 70 and 130, and everybody seems to have a good time.
And City Park in Tell City has once again become the social center of the town, with the Regional Arts Association's Music in the Park and Shoot for the Stars events. Then there's the river. We always come back to the river. Many would say that the Ohio is the soul of our county. Some of the area's most breathtaking views overlook our beautiful river. Eagles Bluff, just outside of Cannelton, provides a dramatic vantage point of the ongoing struggle between the river's incredible power and the man-made steel and concrete erected to control it. The cliffs around Dexter, Magnet, and Buzzard's Roost reveal many other grand vistas. And speaking of Buzzard's Roost, what's up with that name?
The stone building behind me here was built by the Hatfields, which came here in 1857, and they used it as a smokehouse and slaughterhouse, and they sold meat commercially for up and down the river. So when they got done with slaughtering their animals, they just sold the carcasses out the back door. And in the spring of the year, buzzards would come in and they would roost up here on the cliffs, what we call Buzzards Roost today.
I'd like to be able to tell you that life is perfect here, but I can't do that. Like all of America, we face challenges, different than those of urban areas, but challenges all the same. Some believe that all rural areas and small towns are resistant to change. It's a bit easier to understand that resistance when you've lived here and experienced all the wonderful things that stand to be lost. I think our real challenge is to walk that fine line of holding on to the things that can carry us forward and changing the things that can hold us back.
We have some new businesses that have opened to fill in some niches that we didn't have businesses in before. So that has been wonderful for the county as a whole. Other businesses that were already here have expanded even during the economic downturn. So that is really great news for this area.
If you come to us and say you want an urban lifestyle with traffic congestions, obviously we can't give that to you. If you come to us and say you're looking for a high quality of life and you're looking for a place to put your business that will allow you to be profitable within the global economy that we have today, and you need a workforce that's going to help you do that, then we can work with you to put those parameters together.
One of the biggest assets of this Perry County area is the friendliness of the people. We've even had customers that requested to come and visit, audit our machine lines, audit our processes, that their purpose was to come here and turkey hunt.
My family enjoys fishing, we enjoy hunting, and this area, it resembles Wisconsin in that standpoint. I was a little bit worried about it when I moved down because Wisconsin is a very outdoors-oriented state, and southern Indiana offers that same type of opportunity. Good school systems, good infrastructure, and it's centrally located to anywhere in the United States, so you can't ask for too much more.
When you live here in Perry County, finding those things that make us special can be as difficult as finding those lost sunglasses on top of your head. You're just too close to them to see them. Live anywhere long enough and you'll start to take things for granted. You start focusing on what you don't have instead of what you do.
I left the Perry County area thinking I would never return. I wanted to live near the ocean. In 10 years, I took that for granted. I lived near to the beach, and I would go sometimes months without even going for a walk on the beach. Returning to this Perry County area was something that I really wanted to do. The thing I missed the most is the rural aspect of Perry County. Those things that you take for granted and you won't realize it until you leave. But just being able to go out and mow grass and talk to your neighbor and have some space between your homes is something that you can gain in an area like Perry County that you can't in other places of the country.
I think we make an awful lot of fuss about young people leaving the community, and I think that's very important that we keep as many of them as we can. But I also think that it's a natural evolvement of life that kids kind of have to go out and test the waters elsewhere. They think the grass is always greener, and I know I can relate to my own son who said, I will never live in southern Indiana. And then he got married and had a couple of children. And he said, what a great place to raise kids. And now he's here.
It's a tremendous atmosphere for young children to grow up The community helped to support them and make them who they are, and I couldn't be any happier with any of that. Louisville, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Chicago, all the places that have all the big exciting things that most of the people in those big exciting towns only do once or twice a year. Well, I'm doing them all the time, but the remaining amount of the time, the 95% of the rest of my life, with the job and the people that I'm with, the community that I'm with, are all right here where it's relaxed, it's easy, it's quiet. I don't understand why everybody wants to hassle with the big city if I have all the benefits they have without all the hassles.
We watch the same TV shows they're watching in Los Angeles, play the same video games they're playing in New York. We surf the same internet as people living in London and Paris. If you choose to stay in your living room, you could just as well be anywhere. You have to walk outside, or get in your car and take a drive. Reacquaint yourself with Perry County. Maybe it's been long enough since you've really seen it that you won't take it for granted. And if you haven't yet learned the art of living, it's time to start. You're among the masters in one of the best places to learn. I sometimes think about other places I could be. I could be sitting in rush hour traffic on the East Coast, wondering if I would see my kids before their bedtime. I could be in Southern California, giving thanks for the small earthquakes that mean the big one is delayed a bit longer. I could be in any metropolitan area, wondering if it was safe to let my kids walk to the playground. But I'm not any of those places. I'm in Perry County, Indiana, and I'm thinking about Schweitzerfest next week and watching a sunset on the Ohio River. Life is good.